Okay, so let's start the review. All right, so let me see if I can make it zoom a little bit more for you here. All right, so I think that should be good enough. All right, so good. Let's do the first question, okay? All right, so number one, uh, let me see if I can write this carefully. All right, so, okay. All right, so number one, we have 6x to the power of 5 y to the power of negative 2z divided by 2x to the negative 3 y to the fourth power z to the negative 11 all to the power of negative 3. First, I could reduce 6 divided by 2, that's 3. And so we have 3 to the power of, I'm going to distribute this exponent. I could simplify the inside and then distribute it. So you want me, let's do that actually, okay? And then so x to the power of 5 stays because the positive exponent. This x to the negative 3 goes up, so it becomes x to the positive 3. Y to the negative 2 is negative, so that comes down. And then y to the 4 is already positive, stays where it is. Z has a positive power of 1, and z to the power of negative 11 goes up to the power of negative 3. So now when you divide, you subtract the exponents. When you multiply, you add the exponents. Here we have a 3. X to the power of 5 and x to the power of 3 gives you x to the power of 8. Z to the power of 12. Y to the power of 6 to the power of negative 3. Now let's distribute. The negative 3 is going to be 3 to the power of negative 3. X to the power of negative 24. Z to the power of negative 36 divided by y to the power of negative 18. After distributing the negative to all of them, including the 3 has an exponent of 1. So now again, flip because we have negative exponents. 3 to the third power comes down. X to the power of 24 comes down. Z to the power of 36 comes down. Y to the power of 18 goes up. 3 to the power of 3 is 3 times 3 times 3. That's 27. X to the power of 24. Z to the 36. And y to the power of 18 is on the numerator. All right, so that's the first question. Any questions, anyone? I guess you could comment. So let me just check the answer. Y to the 18, 27, x to the power of 24, z to the power of 36 is correct. Okay, let's look at the second question. Let me see if I can scroll this up or actually scroll this down. So can I scroll this down? That's an interesting question. Okay, so I want to scroll this down a bit. Can I do it? Yeah. I guess that's the maximum. All right, so let's take a different new page, okay? So new page. All right. I'm going to erase this. How about that? So I can erase this also. All right, so let's do something. Let's do file. All right, let's do file and new. All right. That did not work for a new one. So, all right, let's keep it, keep the new one. But actually, let's close it. I want to erase all this. So how can I erase all this? I can erase all this by selecting like this and deleting it. So delete. Clear out, right? Okay, good. All right, so good enough. All right, so now second question, okay? So second question. I'm trying to see if I can delete this. I guess I pressed this and then wrote that there. So it's all right. So let me just survive with that. Let me see. Something is not in it. Okay, but anyway. This thing, I hope you can not see it, but I'm going to continue, right? So I don't want to waste too much time. All right, so the second question, if you read it, it says we want to find the slope-intercept form of the equation of this and passing through this, right? We want to see if it's perpendicular as well. So question number 2, we have 4y minus 2x plus 7 equals 0. So we want to first write in y equals mx plus b form. So let's add 2x and subtract 7. Add 2x and subtract 7 on both sides. So we have 4y, which is equal to 2x minus 7. Negative 2x, positive 2x cancels, positive 7, negative 7 cancels. And then to solve for y, we're going to divide this by 2, actually 4. We have to divide by 4. All right, let's divide by 4. So divide by 4, right? So then 4 divided by 4 is 1. We get y equals 2 over 4 reduced to 1 half x minus 7 over 4. So this looks like y equals mx plus b form. So in that case, m is equal to a half, and b, the y-intercept is negative 7 over 4. So more importantly, we need the slope half. Now we know the two lines are perpendicular, right? So if it's perpendicular, we know if m1 is a half, m2 is gonna be negative reciprocal. Okay, so negative reciprocal. So m2, let me do m2. M2 is going to be equal to negative 2 over 1, which is in the other words is negative 2. Now we also know that this passed through 2 comma negative 5. Now we have y equals negative 2x plus b. We want to solve for what b is. We want to write this in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to use y equals mx plus b straight away. So y is negative 5 equals negative 2 times x is 2 plus b, which is negative 5 equals negative 4 plus b. So add 4 on both sides to get b equals negative 1. So the equation that's perpendicular to the given equation is y equals negative 2x minus 1. That's our final answer. Y equals negative 2x minus 1. All right, good. So let's look at the third question. So let me erase all this, you clear all the drawings. All right, so let's go to the third question. All right, so the third question is this. All right, so I'm just gonna see if I can clear all the drawings. All right. So I don't know what this is. So this is probably in, let me check something. Okay, I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna go to file and open up a new one. Then I'm gonna close this. I think, yeah, let's see. No, I think that's better. Let me put this on the side. Okay. All right, so let's look at the third question now. All right. So the third question is, if you read the third question, I guess I'm gonna use blue, the color. All right, so leave it as it is. We want to find the slope-intercept form. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. All right, so again, technical difficulties sometimes. Let me just go back. All right, sometimes you just have to live with it, but next question, next. Okay, I want the first page. All right, so the first page I need. Okay, so I found the first page again. So we are on question number 3. I'll go up so this way it's clear. All right, so the third question is the one that's on top, okay? All right, so here we want to find again the slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b form. We're given 2 points. The first point is negative 2 comma 4. The second point is 2 comma 6. So let's say this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, y2. So we can first find the slope. We know m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's substitute. So we get 6 minus 4 divided by 2 minus negative 2. So 6 minus 4 gives us a 2. Negative negative becomes a positive. Negative, negative becomes a positive. So 2 plus 2 gives you a 4, right? So this reduced by 2, this is a half. So we know slope is a half. Now, so we have y equals half x plus b. Now, we could also use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's the point slope form. But we don't need that because they only ask you the slope intercept form, so we can use this straight away. So now for to find the b, we could use one of these 2 points. I'm going to use the 2 positive ones because it's easier to substitute. So y is 6 equals 1 half times. So I'm going to substitute 2 comma 6, by the way. 1 half times 2, which is the x plus b. Now 1 half times 2 is 1, or 2 over 2. 6 equals 1 plus b. So subtract 1 on both sides to get b equals to 5. So now your equation is y equals 1 half x plus 5. Okay, that's question number 3. Any questions? All right. I guess I'm used to asking any questions. Put it on the comments. All right. So let me just erase all these drawings to go number 4. Question number 4. All right. So for question number 4, we need question number 4. Let me erase, see if I can erase this now. I guess this one. That's interesting. All right, interesting. So can I do this? Let me see if I can erase this. All right, so if I want to erase that, I think I'm gonna, yeah, I see what they're doing. Actually, I'm using the Word one, and I'm using the Zoom one, so it's a little confusing. That's why. So they are confused that they don't know what I'm using actually. All right, so anyway, all right, question number 4. All right, question number 4, it's asking us solve and check. So absolute value of 3x plus 2 plus 1 equals 6. So first solve and check. We want to isolate the absolute value by subtracting 1 on both sides. So we get absolute value of 3x plus 2. I hope I'm not talking too fast. I want to finish this as soon as I can. So 6 minus 1 is 5, right? Now, when you have absolute value, you could write the 2 equations. We have 3x plus 2 equals 5, and 3x plus 2 equals negative 5. So here subtract 2 on both sides. 3x equals 3. Here subtract 2 on both sides. 3x equals negative 7, divide by 3, divide by 3, x equals 1 is one of the answers, divided by 3, divided by 3, x equals negative 7 over 3 is the other answer. Now we have to do a check as well. Check with x equals 1 is not so bad. Absolute value of 3 times 1 plus 2, close the absolute value, plus 1, we want to check if it's 6. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 inside the absolute value, plus 1. Is it really 6? 3 plus 1 is 4, absolute value of 4 plus, I'm sorry, this was a 2. 3 plus 2, let me just erase that and then do it. So 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2 is 5, absolute value, plus 1, is that really 6? Absolute value of 5 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, so 6 equals 6, which first check is done. So let's check with x equals negative 7 over 3. That seems to be interesting. Let's try it. Absolute value of 3 times negative 7 over 3 plus 2, close the absolute value, plus 1, is that really 6? So 3 is 3 over 1. 3 over 1 times negative 7 over 3, 3 reduces. So we get negative 7 plus 2 inside the absolute value, plus 1, is that really 6? So negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5, absolute value of negative 5, plus 1, is that really 6? Absolute value of negative 5 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, so 6 equals 6, check is good. So both answers checks out, so negative 7 over 3, comma 1 is your answers. All right, so next question. All right, so let me just double check. X equals 1 as well as negative 7 over 3 are the answers. All right, I'm going to erase this. So I'm going to go do the next question. So clear all drawings. All right. Next question, number 5. For number y, we need to completely factor completely. All right, now just a small friendly thing. I'm doing it fast. I'm not editing anything, so I might make some mistakes. I am checking the answers, so if I do make silly mistakes, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do as fast as I can because it's now 9:30. I want to finish as soon as possible, right? Okay, but anyway, hopefully if I do make mistakes a little bit here and there, um, I hope I do not, but please forgive me if I do make small mistakes, okay? So we have 12xy minus 10y minus 18x plus 15. When you have 4 terms, we factor by grouping. For the first 2 terms, we can see there is a 2 as well as y common. So if you divide each one by 2y, I'll try to show you that as well. I don't want to keep changing the color, so I'm going to try to use the same color so I save time. Divided by 2y, divide by 2y, right? So we get 6x minus 5. For the next 2 terms, because the leading number is a negative, we're going to factor out a negative as well as a negative 3. So so now we're going to divide by negative 3. Okay, so negative 3. So let's divide this one by negative 3 as well as this one by negative 3. So we get 6x minus another 5. So now you can see 6x minus 5, 6x minus 5 is common. Factor that out. 6x minus 5 comes out times 2y minus 3. So that's the final factoring. 6x minus 5 times 2y minus 3 is perfect. Let's do part B. So we have x squared plus 5x squared minus 16x minus 80. Again, 4 terms factor by grouping. For the first 2 terms, x squared is common. Divide each one by x squared, we get x plus 5. For the next 2 terms, I believe negative 16 is common. So if you divide the first one by negative 16, you get an x. Negative 80 divided by 16 is positive 5. So you get x plus 5 times x squared minus 16. With practice, you know that this one is a difference of 2 squares, so you can factor that again. So you get x squared minus 4 squared. That's like a squared minus b squared. I'll say capital A. A squared minus b squared is a minus b, a plus b, you should know. So you get x plus 5 times x minus 4 times x plus 4. Now the order is not important, so you can have this in different orders. As long as you have all 3 factors, you are good. So, okay, great. So let's look at number 6. I'm going to erase this board now again. So let me clear all this. All right, so number 6. Forgive me for the handwriting also. I'm writing on the computer, so might not be perfect. All right, so now for the next one, you want to find the values of x where y is positive. Now we know this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. Y is positive means above the x-axis, okay? Above the x-axis. So these y's are positive. So where is the graph where y is positive? So all these have y positive values, as you can see. So where is it starting from? It's starting from this to ending at this. So it's starting at -1 and ending at 3. But -1 is exactly 0, so it's not including. 0 is neutral, 0 is not positive, no is negative. So it's not including -1, so it's -1 to 3. It's an interval. So the answer for part A is x equals -1 to +3. Or in other words, in set builder, is x such that x must be greater than -1 but less than 3. But in interval notation, it's this, okay? They want you to write in interval notation, so the right answer is this. This is set builder. This is interval. This is set builder. All right, so part B. Find the domains. Let me see if I can erase this so you could see this one a little bit better. All right, so erase all that. All right, so now the domain. All right, so domain is all x values. So we want to find where the graph is drawn on the x-axis. So all these x values are there. So this arrow indicated goes on forever here and forever there. So all these x values are included. So the domain is actually going to be -infinity to +infinity. Okay. The range is the y value. So let me erase this and then look at the y now. So for the y, you bring it to the y-axis. Now this arrows indicates it goes on forever down. However, this maximum y is at 4. So the range is y is going from negative infinity to the maximum 4 inclusive. So 4 is a bracket. Okay. D is determine the value of f of 1. Now you should remember y is the same as f of x. Let me write that. Y is the same as f of x. So what's inside is an x. So they're asking you when x is 1, what's the y value? So let's go to x equals 1. Let's go to x equals 1. So when you go to x equals 1, right here, you look at the graph. So up or down. So the up is the where you have the graph. So the y value is 4. So f of 1 is 4. Okay. So f of 1 is 4. Good. Now, E, determine the coordinate of the x-intercepts. So x-intercepts are where the graph crosses the x-axis. So the graph is crossing the x-axis at 2 places. One is this place, the other one is this place. So the x-intercepts are negative 1, comma 0, as well as is that 3 or 4? That's 3. So that's 3, comma 0. Those are the x-intercepts. Now, F is the y-intercepts. Y-intercept is where the graph is crossing the y-axis. That's here. This is the y-intercept. So that's actually 0, comma 3. Okay. I think the last part or last couple of parts, last part. So they're asking you what's the x value? What's the x value? Such that f of x is 3. That means y value is 3. They want us to find the x value. So when you go to y value is 3 is this line. So we have two values that has y value 3. So one is 0, comma 3. The other one is 2, comma 3. So the x values that has y value 3 is we have two of them, 0 as well as 3. We have two x values that has y value. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, 0 as well as 2, not 3. So let me erase that. Actually, it's not 3, but it's a 2. X value is 2 when y value is 3. Okay. Any questions? I'm used to asking any questions. I'm sorry. Let's look at next question. Number 7. All right, let's look at number 7. 7, we want to solve it, graph it, interval notation, and use in set builder as well as graph it. Okay, so we have 4x minus 5 less than or equal to 3 times x plus 2. So first I would distribute the 3. So we have 4x minus 5 is less than or equal to 3x plus 6. Now let's solve for x or bring x to one side. So subtract 3x on both sides. We get x minus 5 is less than or equal to 6. Add 5 on both sides. So to get x is less than or equal to 11. All right. So how do you write this in set builder? This is all about x such that x is less than or equal to 11. How do you write this in interval? Negative infinity to 11 inclusive. So bracket. So it's a bracket. All right. So it's a bracket. So it's going to be 11 and a bracket. That's interval. And we need a graph. So on the number line, we have 11 somewhere. This is the x number line. So we put a bracket at 11 and all the way to the left. Some books use a colored circle and open circles because inclusive is going to be a solid circle and all the way to the right. But for our book, we use brackets and parentheses. So because inclusive, it's a bracket. Okay. And that's the graph. All right. So next question. Number 8. So for number 8, we have to completely factor x to the third power y minus 8y. So first GCF y is common. X to the third power minus 8. Now remember x to the third power minus 8 is minus 2 to the third power. Now we got to use the difference of two cubes. A cube minus b cube formula is a minus b times a square plus ab. That's a b, by the way. Plus b squared. All right, so we get y times, so x minus 2 times x square plus 2x plus 2 squared, which is 4. And that's the answer. All right, let me just confirm our number 8 answer as well as if I remember the other one. So yeah, 11 was correct. y times x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4 is correct as well. All right, so the next question, number 9. So let me erase this. Let me clear this. All right, so number nine. So we want to solve this, all right, and then write the domain restriction as well. So we have 2 over x minus 2 minus 14 over x squared plus 3x minus 10, which is equal to 1. So first, let's factor this. Two things that multiplies to negative 10 and add to 3 is going to be x plus 5 times x minus 2. Again, 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. 5 plus negative 2 is positive 3. So the LCD, it's going to be x minus 2 times x plus 5. Now, we can't have, when we have rational functions, we can't have denominator being 0. So the domain restrictions is x minus 2 can't be 0. That means x should not be equal to 2. The other one is x plus 5 should not be 0. So x should not be equal to negative 5. So these are the domain restrictions. All right, now let's find the LCD. So we have 2 over x minus 2. We want to multiply this by an x plus 5. Whatever you do to the denominator, you got to do it to the numerator to make the LCD. Minus 14 over x plus 5 and x minus 2 is already there, the LCD. 1 also has to be made as an LCD. So we're going to multiply x minus 2 times x plus 5, numerator and the denominator. Now, when we have the same denominator throughout, we could multiply by the LCD from both sides to cancel them out. So now let's see what we have. We have 2 times x plus 5 minus 14 equals x minus 2 times x plus 5. Right, that's a 5, by the way. Now let's distribute the 2. We have 2x plus 10 minus 14 equals FOIL. X times x is x squared plus 5x minus 2x minus 10. Combine like terms. So we have 2x minus 4 being equal to x squared plus 3x minus 10. Subtract 2x on both sides, add 4. So subtract 2x and add 4. Let's see what we get. This cancels. 0 equals x squared plus x minus 6. Now we need to find two numbers that multiplies to negative 6 and add to 1, right? Add to 1. So that's going to be x plus 3 times x minus 2. One more time. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 3 plus negative 2 is 1. So equals 0. Now we can find the two answers. X plus 3 equals 0 or x minus 2 equals 0. Subtracting 3 on both sides, x should be equal to negative 3. Adding 2 to both sides, x should be equal to 2. Now remember, 2 must be excluded. So this one must be rejected. So the only answer is x equals negative 3. Did they ask us to check? No, they didn't ask us to check. So I'm not going to check, but it should check out. Let me just check whether the answer on the answer key is the answer only negative 3. Okay, yeah, answer is only negative 3, and the domain restrictions are x should not be 2 as well as x should not be negative 5. Perfect. Okay. All right, next question. All right, so let me move this up a little bit so you guys can see the next few questions. All right, I think that should be good enough. All right, so the next question, what do we have? We have number 10. We want to find the domain. So we have a radical function. So we have square root of negative 4 minus 2x. Now here, inside the square root, whatever the inside the square root is, that has to be greater than or equal to zeros. Can't be negatives. So negative 4x minus 2x has to be greater than or equal to 0. So let's add 4x. I'm sorry, I think that's a negative 4, not 4x. So I'll take it back. I'm sorry. All right, so let's add 4 on both sides first. This cancels out. We have negative 2x is greater than or equal to positive 4. To solve for x, we got to divide by negative 2 on both sides. Now you got to remember, whenever you're dividing by a negative number, this inequality has to switch. So x is going to be less than or equal to negative 2. Now we need to express this in terms of interval as well as set builder. So interval first, x is less than, so it's negative infinity up to -2. Now set builder is x such that x is less than or equal to -2. All right, let me just check the answers and it's correct. All right, I'm going to erase the board. Erase. All right, so let's do the next one. All right, so question number 11. We want to calculate using radicals. Okay, so using radicals. We have -27 to the power of 2/3. Now, remember, if you have b to the power of -m/n, the denominator is the index, so nth root of b to the power of -m. However, I think we should make it a positive exponent first. You know what? Let me just make it a positive exponent. So this is going to be a positive. All right. So m is the exponent, n is the index. So this is going to be -27 is the base. It's the base. And the index is going to be a 3. So cube root of to the second power. I'm going to put the second power outside. So you can put it inside, or you could say nth root of b to the power of m like that. So both are correct, okay? Both are equal. So now cube root of -27. We know -27 is -3 to the third power, right? So cube root and that reduces each other. So we have a -3 inside and then we have a square. So -3 squared is a +9. So the answer is +9. All right, so that's 11. So let me check 11. 11 is right. So let me look at the next question. I erase the board. All right, so question number 12. All right, so 12 we have -8x to the 6th power, y to the 2nd power to the power of 1/3. So now we want to express this as a radical first. So again, as I mentioned to you, the denominator is the index, so it's cube root of -8x to the 6th, y to the 2nd power. Now we know -8 is -2 to the 3rd power. X to the 6 is x to the 2nd power to the 3rd power. Y square doesn't have any 3's in it, has to be greater than or equal to 3. So y square is not going to be a perfect cube. All right, so when we have cube roots, let's do that. So cube root of -2 to the 3rd power, this cancels out and you get a -2. And then x to the 2nd power to the 3rd power, again, this cancels out, this 3 cancels out and gives you x squared. However, cube root of y square cannot be reduced, so that has to be brought down. Now remember to write that 3 index here, otherwise it becomes a square root. So the answer is -2x squared cube root of y squared. All right, next question. Number 13. For 13, we need to solve and check. Now, square root equations, you must check all the time. So square root of, we have 2x minus 1 plus 2 equals x. This 2 is not inside the square root. So let's isolate the square root by subtracting 2 on both sides first. So we have square root of 2x minus 1 being equal to x minus 2. Now to get rid of the square root, we got to do the opposite of square root, which is squaring. So whatever you do to one side, you got to do it to the other side because it's an equation. So we basically have 2x minus 1 being equal to, here, x square minus 4x plus 4. If you didn't know that, you could do x minus 2 times x minus 2 and FOIL it out. X times x is x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. You get the -4x from there. All right, so that's this part. All right, now combine the, no, bring everything to one side. There's no combining like terms on either side. So let's subtract 2x and add 1. This cancels, that cancels. We get x squared minus 6x plus 5 being equal to 0. Now we need to find two numbers that multiplies to +5 and add to -6. It's going to be x minus 5 times x minus 1 equals 0. Let me check. -5 times -1 is +5. -1 plus -5 is -6. Okay. Now set it equal to 0. So you get x minus 5 equals 0, as well as x minus 1 equals 0. X equals 5 as well as x equals 1. Check both equations, both answers, I mean to say. So x equals 5. So we have square root of, let me see if I can divider here. Square root of 2 times 5 minus 1 plus 5, is that really 5? I put a not equal for some reason. I don't know why. All right, so we are checking. So question mark. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. So square root of 9 plus 2. So many mistakes here. Okay, let me erase this one more time. This was a 2 here. I don't know why I wrote a 5. I excuse myself. Okay, so plus 2, is that really 5? Square root of 9 is 3, so 3 plus 2 is 5. So the first check is good. Let's check with x equals 1. So we have square root of 2 times 1 minus 1 plus 2. Is that really 1? 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 square root plus 2 is that 1. Doesn't look like it's becoming 1, but let's see. 2 minus 1 is 1. Square root of 1 plus 2, is that really 1? Square root of 1 is 1. 1 plus 2 is not 1. It's 3. So this one must be rejected. So reject this guy. So the answer is just 5. Number 13, the answer is just 5. Is correct. Okay, let's look at the next question. All right, so 14. 14, we want to write this in a plus bi form. We have 3 plus 4i whole squared. So first, because if it's squared, you got to write the base twice, multiplying each other. 3 plus 4i times 3 plus 4i. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4i is 12i. 4 times 3i is another 12i. 4i times 4i is 16i squared. Everyone should know I square is negative 1. So we have 9. These two 12i, 12i adds up to 24i. And then plus 16 times negative 1. 16 times negative 1 is negative 16. So 9 plus 24i minus 16. So 9 minus 16 gives us a negative 7 plus 24i is the final answer. So the answer is negative 7 plus 24i is correct. Okay, let's look at the next one. 15. 15. So 15, solve using the square root property and write the answer in a plus bi form. So we have x minus 7 whole squared equals negative 16. Straight away, the opposite of squaring is square root on both sides. We got to remember to put plus or minus. Square root and square opposite operations, they cancel each other out. We have x minus 5 equals plus or minus square root of negative 16 is 16 times square root of negative 1. Again, everyone should know square root of negative 1 is the same as I. So we have x minus 7 is equal to plus or minus square root of 16 is 4 and I. Add 7 on both sides. Now remember, they are not like terms, so this cancels out. X equals 7 plus or minus 4i. So we have two answers. One is 7 plus 4i. The other one is 7 minus 4i. Okay. So you could write the answer as separate or as together. That's fine. So 15, the answer is 7 plus or minus 4i is very good. Let me erase the board and do the next question. All right. All right, so number 16, okay? So 16. A picture measures 50 by 30. So let me see, 50 by 30. So the length is 50 and the width is 30, all right? Surrounded by the uniform width, a frame by a uniform width. Okay, so something like this, all right? So let's say this is, it's the same width, so this is x. Let's see, this width is x. This side is also has an x. This side is another x. So all around it's an x. This is an x also, right? So if the combined area of the picture and the frame is, so the whole area is 2,204 square centimeters. Determine the width, determine its width of the frame. So we want to find what x is. So the picture is 50 by 30, but it has a uniform width. Okay. So the new length with the picture and the frame is x plus 50 plus x, or in other words, 2x plus 50. The width of this is the length. The width is x plus 30 plus another x. So this is going to be equal to 2x plus 30. So now we know the area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. So area is 2204 equals length is 2x plus 50 and the width is 2x plus 30. Now we have to solve this. Okay, so let's solve it. All right, so let me see. 2204 equals, FOIL this. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times 30 is 60x. 50 times 2x is 100x. 50 times 30 is 5 times 3 is 15, two zeros. Okay, now let's subtract 2204 on both sides to bring everything to one side because it's a quadratic equation. Cancels out, so we get 4x squared plus 160x. I gotta do that math, so it's 500 plus, so I believe it's negative 704. All right, I don't even have to check it, I know it's right. All right, so equals 0. Now looks like everything has a 4 in common, so let me divide everything by 4. Divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4, as well as divide this side by 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0 equals x squared plus 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 40x minus 4 greater than 7 once, the remainder is 3. So 30 is 7. And then there's a remainder of 2. 24 is 6. 176. I believe that's right, but I'll just double check just in case. 704 divided by 4 is 176 is correct. Now you need to find two numbers that multiplies to negative 174 and add to 40. That's a little bit more challenging. I guess you can, with practice, you'll do it faster, but you know the difference. So one has to be a negative, the other one has to be a positive. Some of the larger is positive, okay? So the difference has to be a 40. So you can play around with it. So like, for an example, if you divide 176 by 2, what you get, 176 divided by, if you can divide by 3, you could. If you can divide by 4, you could. Likewise, you can check it, but I believe one is going to be a negative 4, and because the difference is 40, is going to be a 44. Let's check that. 44 times negative 4. 44 times negative 4 is negative 176 is correct, and the difference is 40. All right, so the two answers are x plus 44 equals 0, which is x, bringing 44 to the other side is negative 44, or x minus 4 equals 0, adding 4 to both sides, x is equal to 4. We know that the width of the frame can't be a negative, reject that. So the only answer is x equals 4 centimeters. So the width of the frame is 4 centimeters. All right, that's 16. Let's do 17. Let me erase all that. I'm sorry. I hope you had time to copy all that. Of course, you can pause if you want to. So let me look at the next one. All right. So number 17. Sum of a positive number. So let's say x is a positive number. So sum of a positive number. So sum means plus. And twice its square. So it's 2x squared equals is 11.88. So it's basically going to be 2x squared plus x. We can subtract this on both sides. So minus 11.88 equals 0. So let's, we have to use the quadratic formula here. So a is 2, b is 1, and c is negative 11.88. So we know the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So that's going to be negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 squared minus 4 times a is 2 times c is negative 11.88 divided by 2 times 1, right? So we get negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 square is 1 minus 4 times, 4 times, let me see, 4 times 2 times 11.88. I got negative 95.04. Is that a negative or a positive? Negative times a negative is a positive. This is a positive over 2. So we get negative 1 plus or minus. So 95. So it's going to be square root of 96. 96.04 divided by 2. So we have two answers. One is negative 1 minus square root of 96.04 over 2. The other one is negative 1 plus square root of 96.04 over 2. Now we know negative minus a negative is a negative. So this is going to be a negative. So, but they said it's a positive number. So this can be rejected. So let's do this one. Let's approximately find it for how many numbers? I'm not sure, but let's see 96. So square root of 96. So square root of 96.04. That's 9.8. So, and then minus 1 is 8.8 divided by 2 is 4.4. So it's the positive number is 4.4. Let me just double check. For number 17, they have 2.2. Okay, I see a mistake. All right, so I have to go back. Remember, A was 2. A was a 2 here. So I replaced A by a 1. So I made a mistake there. A was 1. I put A was 1, but A actually was 2. All right, so 2 times 2 is a 4 here. So let me make sure that I mark it with a red. This was a 4. This was a 4. All these were 4s. So it was 8.4 divided by 4. So the right answer should have been 2.2 instead. 2.2, and this is no units. So it's 2.2 is the right answer, and it checks out. All right. All right. So the first page is that. So I'm going to try to post the recording because I know Zoom only gives me like 45 minutes to work on per setting. So I'm going to try to upload this, and I'll upload as another page or another video on the second and the third page. All right. So okay, hope to see you on the second page. Let me see if I can upload this. Hopefully the sound is good. Hopefully it was not so bad. All right. So all right, I'll see you soon.